All right. So today we're going to talk about configuration management, change management, and change control. Huh? Yeah, I know what you're wondering, right? What are these things? Well, we're about to find out. So we're going to start here by watching a quick little video um, to maybe get you a little bit excited about what we got going on here. So as you can see, there's three separate things, and they're all different from each other, and they may seem like a lot of work to implement and use them and get involved with them. But while it does take some effort and some work, the benefits of using them will pay off in the long run by the time savings and the efficiency and all the other things that they have. So what is configuration management? There's a little clip here that you can watch that will tell you a little bit more about configuration management. But what it is it's a process that helps establish and maintain system integrity over time. Configuration management helps develop good systems and subsystems. Configuration management helps establish baselines for information systems, and it helps to track and control changes in the software development process. So there's four elements in configuration management. There's configuration identification, configuration control, configuration auditing, and configuration reporting. Now, configuration identification, what is it? Well, it's the process of identifying configurations, items, and baselines. Configuration items are items created during system design. For example, requirements, documents, software, models, plans, source code, those kind of things. And a baseline is a reference point to a system at a certain point in time. For instance, if we have a system here, we're going to create a baseline of performance, and those are the standards from which we'll compare our new system. Control. So configuration control, it's a set of processes, and it defines who can access things and make changes. It helps you provide documentation defining what those changes are going to be, and it helps set procedures for controlling those changes. Auditing. Now, configuration auditing, it helps you compare your current configuration against the baseline and the requirements that you gathered earlier. Auditing helps you make sure what is required is getting done. And then finally, we have reporting. And you would think that auditing and reporting are kind of the same, but they're different. So reporting helps us keep a record of the system status. It helps us track updates over time, and it helps us at any point in time monitor our progress and see where we're at. So what are the benefits of configuration management? Well, it helps us identify what was changed and who changed it. If something is working well, it can help us replicate what is working well on another system. It helps improve the communication between team members, and it can help us save money by having a well-organized system that doesn't take a lot of effort and work to use. For some more information, here's a couple of links to some videos that may explain it a little bit better. A lot of these topics are involved in project management, various project management aspects. And so even though they may be specific to project management, the ideas and the thought process still applies here to system analysis and design. So change management is our second thing we're going to talk about. So what is change management? Change management, this comes directly from the textbook we used, is winning the hearts and minds of potential users and convincing them that the new system actually provides value. It's a process and it's a plan that helps change succeed. Well, why do we need it? Well, we need it because people hate change. And because people hate change and hate changing, we want to make sure our new system doesn't end up in the garbage. Um, Failure to implement change management will lead to a situation very similar to this.
Would you like to sample our vegan bacon? 100% meatless.
Yes, please. Another, please.
Sir, is there a problem?
I'm just making sure no one ever has to eat this.
I don't think I can give you any more.
I want one.
So as you can see, people are very resistant to change, and that can cause a lot of problems. So who are the players? Who's involved in change management? Well, you have a sponsor, you have a change agent, and then you have potential adopters. So the sponsor, this is the guy who wants the change. He initiates the request for the change. He's often a senior member of the organization, um, and this is very important because of who they are. That senior member of the organization, their recommendation, the changes that they want to see happen, they carry a lot of weight. More people are potentially able to get in line with the recommendations versus a proposed change from an outside organization. Then you have a change agent. And so this is a person leading the efforts to make the change. They're the ones who plan and implement the change. The key difference between them and the sponsor is they're from outside the organization. And because of that, they have less credibility with people inside of the organization who the change is going to affect. When the change is done, the change agent is done as well. And he goes back to wherever he came from. Finally, you have the potential adopters. And so these are the people who must do the changing. They're the people that the system was designed for. They're the system users. And they have a choice here. They must choose to accept or reject the new system and the changes that are coming with it. Well, how do we make sure everyone gets on board? Well, we want to implement a plan. And there's some key components here. So what we need to understand is you need to understand resistance to change and why people have resistance. You want to look at revising your management policies. You want to assess your costs and benefits associated with the change. You want to figure out how to motivate people to adopt the change, and then you need to train people. So resistance to change. So you've got to understand why people are resistant to change. Going back to the Ron Swanson example, vegan bacon is not bacon. No matter how well it tastes, or if you can replicate the smell of real bacon and the texture and the look, all those things, fundamentally vegan bacon is not bacon. And so people who are bacon lovers are not going to change and be accepting. So what do? Well, if you can understand why they're resistant to changing, it can help provide guidance, and it might give you an opportunity to address their concerns. Now, one very key aspect here is you need to understand the real costs and benefits versus perceived costs and benefits. And so that's what is actually true versus what people believe to be true. You can create the world's best system that will make $1 million a day, that has fantastic benefits. But if people don't believe in it and don't believe that the system will carry through and fulfill those promises for whatever reason, you're going to have a very hard time implementing the change to this new system and getting people to buy into it. The other thing you need to do in change management is you need to revise management policies. So management policies, these are the things that set goals and define how work should be done and help define rewards. New systems need new goals, and these new goals need processes, and new processes to accomplish the new goals. The old system rules generally won't work in a new system. So how do you do this? Well, you need to have standard operating procedures, and these are things that are routine and part of the everyday, and everybody knows what they are. You need to set policies for how you're going to define and how you're going to measure success and rewards. And then this one is very interesting. It's called the resource allocation policy. And it's interesting because it shows management commitment and support of the new system. And they do this, for instance, with money. They can allocate budget money to go to the new system and strip the old system of having new money. And this shows their commitment and support for the new system. You need to assess costs and benefits. Well, of course, right? It seems like it would make sense. Well, you need to compare costs and benefits of the new system to the old system. By doing this, it'll help you identify who will support the new system, who won't support it. And it also can help you identify reasons on why they will or will not support the new system. Recognizing benefits can help you get people to buy into the new system when you can say, here's the benefit. You've got, as part of your change management steps, process plan, you got to be able to motivate people to want changes. It's far easier to convince people why change is good versus forcing it upon them. You want to provide clear reasons for change and the benefits that come from it. Now, in motivating people, you're going to have these people called ready adopters. And they make up about 20 to 30% of the people who will use the new system. But they're special. They recognize the benefits of the new system, and they quickly adopt it and become proponents of it. And so you want to motivate these people to get on board. And then once these ready adopters are on board, you want to use them to win over the reluctant adopters, the other 40 to 60% who for whatever reason are hesitant to change and don't want to change. You've got to provide training. Going back to the system that makes $1 million a day, even if people love the system and it's making $1 million a day, no training will be a bad thing because they won't know how to use it. You can't make $1 million a day if you don't know how to do it. So you want to train people, you don't want to train them on every single aspect of the system if they don't need it. You want to train them on the aspects that will help them get their job done. There's a couple different kinds of training. You can have classroom training. It's train many people at one time with one trainer. You have one-on-one training where the trainer helps one person at a time. And then you have computer-based training where you can use the web, the PowerPoint, etc. to help people with their training. So what are the benefits here? Well, change management helps people understand change better. And when people understand change better, it makes them happier. When people are happier, it creates less stress generally, and less stress hopefully will lead to improved efficiency. I think a key benefit too is it also lowers the risk of failure. If you remember, Dr. Parker talked about new systems and the high rate of failure that they have. And so anything that you can do to help lower that risk of new system failure is definitely a benefit and will help you as you go through the process. Here's a few more videos to look at if you'd like to see more information on change management. Finally, we have change control. Well, what is change control? Well, change control is an approach, it's a tool, it's a process to manage, the asterisk right here, in an orderly fashion, and I think that's important. The changes that are made to a system. Change control is a component of change management. Well, why is it important? Why do we do it? Well, it helps us to ensure that no unnecessary changes are made. It documents changes, and it helps create a better system. And it does this through a 6-step process. The 6 steps in this process is you want to make a record. You want to document the changes being requested. You need to look at what you're looking at changing and assess the benefits and the risks of the proposed changes. You need to make a plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, is the old adage. You want to create and test the changes in the system before you implement them, because you want to know how you're going to break it before everything goes ready. You need to implement the new changes, and then you want to verify with the client that the changes meet their needs. So why is documentation important? Well, documentation provides guidance for you throughout the process. It also provides security. Security, you ask? Well, yes, if you change the background of this to red and the client comes to you and says, hey, I told you that was purple, having documented that provides you that security that you're doing things the right way. Change control helps you evaluate if the changes you're proposing are worth making. It provides a way for you to create and test the changes before you ruin the whole system, which is always an important thing. And it allows you and the client to be on the same page regarding the changes. Here are some of the references that were used throughout and may offer a little bit better insight into the topics that we have covered today.